Hello and welcome to this B1 Usability Package Tip of the Week session. My name is Rasmus Jensen, and this week we'll be looking into tips on working with menu items within SAP Business One. First up, how do we actually find MenuUid IDs in Business One? Well, they are part of the system information, but many people don't know about it. So let's go into Business One here. So let's say I need to find business partner master data and find the MenuUid here. Well, if I turn on system information and hover the mouse over the field, I won't get the MenuUid. That is because the main menu here is also a window, and in this case it's showing me data about the window, not about the MenuUid. So every time you need to find a MenuUid, you need to go using the top menu up here, because everything you have in the main menu is of course in here as well. So what I need to do is I need to hover the mouse over the MenuUid, as I do now, and you can now in the lower left corner see that instead of the normal form information, we now see MenuUid equals 2561, and that is the case for every single MenuUid. So again, if I wanted to have a sales order, it would be 2050. So now we have seen how to take data from the MenuUid, but it is not only the main menu. Again, these are all the different windows we can open, but everything else also have MenuUids. For example, if I open a sales order and I then have some buttons here to click, next, previous, find, add, they will all be in the top menu as well under data. So you can see find also have a MenuUid, in this case 1281, while next record, previous record, print preview, every single thing we normally do off the screen have a MenuUid. So where in Usability Package can you actually use MenuUids? Well, as we add more modules, of course it will change over time, but right now we have 4 main parts where you can use them. First is, of course, the on-site development B1 validation system, where you can trigger specific MenuUids. If you choose the event MenuClick, you can type in that you want to react when this menu item is pressed. Second, we can do it in function buttons, where we can have a test button, launch a user-defined menu, where we can specify the MenuUid we want to run. We just type in, if we wanted this button to open the sales order, we would type in 2050, and it would open up the sales order. Adding little menus is a way where you can put in your own menu items, so you can actually create entire new structures up here. For that you need some parent menu UI items. In this case, for example, I made some Boyum support here. So I actually use the parent menu item of the help, which you can see is 43564. And I can then generate entire new MenuUids as I go along. For the edit part, we can go in and take existing menu items and give them new names. So if you don't like it's called sales order, but it should only be called order, you can change it. And again, remember, everything is menu item. So if for some reason your customer complained that it's called Cascade instead of something else, you could actually also change that name. You're not only limited to the main menu. Final place is in macros, where you do activate commands. And again, if I wanted to open up sales order, it would be 2050, like this. And as I mentioned, we have a previous slide, tip of the week that talks about how you could actually replace a lot of send key commands, like for formatted search, like for switching to find mode, and so on, with activate commands of menu IDs. In fact, there are more menu IDs than you might think. We see a lot of people using macros and send keys in order to go to find mode, go to add mode, launch a formatted search, and so on. We have a separate session on that, but just as some examples, people know that a formatted search is Shift F2, but actually up here you can do exactly the same using a MenuUid. F1 is also just a MenuUid. And if you're wondering, okay, if I press here, I could of course work with that MenuUid, but what if I press F1? Well, F1 would essentially just launch that MenuUid. So it's not that you don't catch all going to the help by using the shortcut keys. The shortcut keys would just press the menu items for you. That's the only thing they do. Another place MenuUids exist is in Rightclicks. So again, if we are in Business One and we do a right click, we get different set of options up here. And some of them we can use. You can see there are MenuUids, all of them, but they only exist at the time of the right click. Well, not entirely true for every single one of them. Most of the time you can go to and find the same MenuUids, and if they are there, you can use them. So if I wanted to launch the list of items equal to tab, I would be able to do that using the go-to features. There are some cases where these items isn't on the screen because they are sensitive to what each field we are on. But essentially, if you want to use a right click, well, then don't. Go to, if you can find it up in the top menu, you can essentially script that you're doing the right click. If you can't, well, then it's because it is a unique right click functionality and it's not in the system, and then you are not able to script that. Final type we have of menu IDs in Business One is the dynamic menu IDs. There are primarily two places, but there can be more as you go along with different setups. First of all, if you want to use the user-defined menu window, each of these actually get a MenuUid. But because of course there can be different user-defined tables and different databases, you wouldn't be able to expect that, in this case, for example, B1 search defaults here have right now 51215, but in another database it might have a different UID because they get it once, but they can be different from database to database. So if you make some functionality that opens up a user-defined table, it might not be something that you can just copy-paste between two databases. But at least they are consistent from each login. On the other hand, something that is not unique for each login is the user queries. In here you can see again a user query have a MenuUid, but the problem is that if I log out of Business One and log in again, it will not get the same MenuUid. It's essentially unique from each time. It's not something that goes again from on the same database. So in that case, that is the main reason we have the user query command in macros, and function button has the user query option, because we can't rely on these MenuUIDs, and that is the reason you are not allowed to work with them. It's the only place we have so far located in Business One that they change over time, but please be aware of them. So it wouldn't make sense to use this MenuUID, because the next time a user log in, it can be something completely different. This concludes this session. For training material, please go to service.boyum-it.com/education, or if you want a free demo of the product, go to license.boyum-it.com/b1up. If you want to contact us, you can do it either by our sales email or our support email. Thank you for attending.